Hello everyone, welcome to Wildwood Studio. I'm Sarah, and in this video, I'm going to be walking you through a fun and simple pyrography project that I like to do. I think that this one is good for both people who are new to wood burning and also for experienced burners who just want to have a little fun and do a quick and simple project. This project is going to be all line work with no shading, so I'm going to be doing the whole thing with my knife-shaped pen. I buy these little wooden eggs from Lee Valley, but I'm sure you can find similar things elsewhere as well. So, let's get started. I didn't do an undersketch on these because part of what I think makes them interesting is that they're all spontaneous and different. And also, one of the things that I like about them is that I can just draw them freehand with my burner and not have to think about it too much. So the main design are just these very simple flowers. They start with a circle at the center, and then I just worked all the petals out from there. I usually like to do 5. I don't know exactly why. Someone once told me that odd numbers make better compositions, and I usually find that this is true. Each petal is just 2 little S-curves that start at the circle, flare out, and then meet again at the tip. And so I just went around and did my 5 petals. Next, I added 2 little curved lines in each petal to add a little bit of interest and detail there at the center. After that, it's just a matter of adding more flowers around the egg in varying sizes and overlapping them in interesting ways, so that there are a few on top, but there are others behind them. While I'm doing this, you might notice that I rotate the egg as well as moving my pen. I used to rotate all of my burnings a lot while I was working because it's easier to get the right angle on what I'm burning since pyrography pens are not like regular pencils. Pencils can make the same mark no matter which direction you move them in, but pyrography pens are all uniquely shaped, so the direction of the stroke matters, but so does the angle of the pen. I stopped turning my art around so much while I was working when I started making YouTube videos because I have to speed up my burning so much that all that spinning became a bit nauseating to watch. I'm sure that if any of you have watched my first 2 videos, you can see evidence of this from before I caught on. But if you're just starting out with wood burning, I would recommend that you try turning the picture you're working on when you find you're having trouble with a line or a bit of shading. For the placement of the flowers, it's pretty much random, but when deciding where the next flower should go, I try not to line them all up on the center of the egg. I think that it's more interesting to have them up or down of center. As I said before, I think this is a good project for beginners because I think it would be a fun way to practice your line work and end up with something pretty to show off at the end. But I also make these all the time because I like to sell my artwork at art shows and craft shows, and most artists bring something small to sell along with their main artworks. Usually this is like greeting cards or bookmarks, but since I don't really sell any prints yet, I like to make a bunch of these eggs and then I can sell them whenever I do a show. This type of design may also look familiar to anyone who does henna tattoos because it's very similar to designs that I used to draw when I was doing henna. So I just sort of translated the things I learned from henna onto wood burning for this egg. After I'm done adding all the flowers, the next thing I did was work my way around the bottom of the design and add little leaf shapes. These are also henna inspired, so they're done as 2 parallel S-curves that don't touch and make up the center line of the leaf, and then I close each side of the leaf with a little C-curve and add the lines inside the leaf that look like its veins. So I just added these all around the bottom wherever I thought that they would look nice and not too squished. Some eggs end up with more or less leaves depending on how spaced out the flowers are, and sometimes I don't include them at all. The last thing I did for this burning is also the most obviously henna-inspired part, I think. I went around and added these little curved lines as details just to add interest around the flowers. These are shaped by letting my pen sit for a little longer and burn deeper at the beginning of my line, and then moving more quickly and pulling the pen up at the end to create a variation in line weight so that it's thicker at the top and thinner at the bottom. So once again, I just did these randomly, kind of wherever I thought they would look nice. One thing you may notice about this burning is that my pen is quite hot. it's causing a bit of extra scorching around all of my lines, and my pen is sometimes glowing red. Usually, there is no need to let your pen get this hot, and it's better to work slowly and have patience than to just turn up the heat, no matter how badly you may want to. But because one of the perks of this project is that it's quick and easy, and because I'm not doing any shading or trying for realism, and I don't mind the scorching, I prefer to turn my pen up pretty high and move faster. So the burning part of this one is done. Time to move on to the color. I'm using watercolor and basically just outlining the inside of each petal to lay the color down thicker here, and then really wetting my brush and pulling the color into the rest of the petal with the water. I like the effect this gives because it doesn't end up being a flat color, so it looks a little shaded. If you watched my video last week, you know that I almost never add color to my burnings, but these are kind of the exception to that. Usually I feel a bit bad covering up my burning, just because it takes me so long. But with these, I'm not doing any shading, and the line work is fairly simple, and I just think they pop much more with the color than without it. So all in all, the burnings took me about 25 minutes, and the painting also took about 25 minutes, and then you can add about 10 minutes in for finishing, so the whole thing rounds out to about an hour each. And the fun thing with these is that there aren't really any rules, so you can go ahead and experiment with the design, change the placement or the look of it, do something completely different entirely, or change the painting technique and color to make each one unique. And the last thing I always do is finish them with a clear gloss to protect the artwork and also to make them a bit shiny. These are some that I made a while ago and put the finish on, and these are the ones that I made today. I haven't finished them yet because I tend to wait until I have a bunch of burnings and then I can just coat them all at once. If you're not a fan of the gloss, there's also a lot of different types of finishes you can get. So this is the finished egg that I made in this video. Please let me know what you think in the comments, and if you try this project, please post pictures. I'd really love to see them. If you want to see more of my work, you can also check out my Facebook page or follow me on Instagram. Also, please make sure to like this video if you haven't already and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss all my future art videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.